How's it going, guys? Welcome back to Blake Check. If you're new to the channel, my name is Blake. It's nice to meet you. If you're not so new to the channel, then you will be familiar with these two beautiful cars standing right behind me. Let's go take a closer look. So this car over here on the left is my 2018 Tesla Model 3 Performance Stealth Edition that we purchased from Tesla's used inventory back in May of this year. It's my dream car. I love this car. You guys are familiar with this one. If you haven't seen the delivery day video of this car, it'll be linked in the top right-hand corner of your screen. This one is our most recent addition to the garage. This is my wife's 2018 Tesla Model 3 long-range rear-wheel drive. That's hard to say. As many of you know, we bought this car used from Carvana. It was dropped off a few weeks ago. The delivery day video will be linked in the top right-hand corner as well. Over the course of the past few weeks, I've been going over every inch of this car to see if there's anything wrong with it, and in today's video, we are going to review everything that I found. But before we get into everything that's wrong with my wife's new car, I wanted to share some new toys with you. For those of you who aren't massive nerds like me, I invite you to skip ahead. I'll give you a second. Now that it's just the boys, let's play with some new toys. The first of which is this wireless controller that was sent to me by Jawa. They are a company that makes Tesla accessories. They send me some stuff sometimes. I love to try them out and see if they're any good. Most of the time, they are. So first, let's check out this wireless controller. As you guys know, Teslas come with games that you can play. When you're sitting at a charging station, or if you have just time to kill, you can hop into the arcade and play any one of these cool games. Some of them actually you can play without wireless controllers or controllers at all. You can just use the touch screen or whatever. Games like Sonic and Skyforce and Cat Quest do require a controller, however. So traditionally you would just plug a controller into the USB port down there, but Jawa has another solution that's a little more elegant in my opinion. They sent me this wireless controller that connects to the car via this little Bluetooth dongle. So I'm going to plug that in and show you what it looks like. So I'm going to try my best to do this one-handed. Fortunately, setup is super easy. All you need to do is plug in the Bluetooth receiver down here, grab your controller, change it to Bluetooth mode. You'll see a blue light indicator turn on, and then it will vibrate to let you know that it's ready. But then all you need to do is pick a game to play. I like Skyforce. As you can see, you can play with 1 to 2 players, so I guess if you have 2 controllers, you and a friend can play. I'm going to switch this to full screen mode. Keep in mind, I am playing one-handed, so don't roast me in the comments for how bad I am at this right now. I'm actually doing pretty good. But yeah, you guys get the idea. That's all there is to it. So the last thing that I wanted to share with you guys was this center console organizer tray that Jawa sent me. It's pretty self-explanatory. It just organizes your center console and keeps things from rolling around down there. They also sent me this super sus looking, not a sex toy, but actually a USB Type-C charge port that plugs into the auxiliary port that is under the armrest. The only problem with this is that it sticks out too far when there's a cable plugged into it and fails on this organizer that comes from the factory. Jawa said that they are coming out with an aftermarket tray that solves this problem, so be on the lookout for that. Actually, links for all of this stuff will be in the description below. Thanks for watching this far into the video. Let's get back to the regular content, everything that's wrong with my wife's car. So the first thing that I noticed that's wrong with my wife's car is that the left and right repeater camera images were showing up as dim, or sometimes they weren't even loading on the center screen. As many of you know, Tesla recently rolled out an update that enabled automatic blind spot images to appear on the center screen whenever you turn on the left or right turn indicator, and they make use of those side repeaters that are on the outside of the car. So that's why I wanted to get that looked at as soon as possible. The car just got back from a service appointment this week where they fixed the cameras. I'm not sure if they had to replace the entire side repeater assembly or if they were able to correct it with a firmware update. All I know is that the images are now popping up immediately. They're crisp, clear, and bright. So as far as I know, that's been addressed and that's been fixed. I'm happy with the result there. The next thing that was wrong with the car was that the right fog light was actually slightly pushed in to where it was almost not noticeable, but someone like me would notice if you got close enough. So I asked Tesla to fix that, and of course they did. And it only cost like 60 bucks. So I was going to do it myself. I think it was just one of the mounting brackets had been pushed in or something. And so Tesla just reattached that. So that was easy to do. Another thing that I want to talk about while we're down here is that it looks like some of the clear coat on the front bumper is missing. I'll show you guys as close as I can what that looks like. It's actually hard to see with the naked eye. It's easier to notice when you like run your hand over this. I know you guys can't do that, but you'll just have to trust me. Maybe I can let you hear the difference. Like when I rub my hand over a spot that has clear coat on it versus down here, you'll hear that it sounds a little more rough. So that leads me to believe that maybe this car was in like a minor fender bender. So Like I said, it's really hard to notice, so I think it's been fixed. There's no more lasting issues in terms of like software, and the body looks fine to me. It's not until you get close that you notice stuff like this. So it's definitely been to a body shop where they repainted it, but just not quite to match from factory. So the last thing that I would consider wrong with this car is the condition of the tires that it came on. These look like they might be the first and only tires that have ever been on this car. So that means they're like 4 years old and they have about 26,000 miles on them. So the tread is down to about, you know, like 3 millimeters. Actually, at the Tesla service center, they said that it is probably not safe to drive on these for much longer. They definitely recommended replacing them. So that's actually what we are going to do today. So that's the last thing that I wanted to get addressed before I let my wife drive this car again. There's also this like gouge that's in the car, so I'm honestly kind of surprised that Carvana allowed a car with tires in these conditions to be sold to a customer. So I actually called Carvana. I let them know that the state of the tires really isn't up to par with what they promise with a used car from their inventory. So they agreed. So they're actually going to pay for the replacement tires that I'm going to go get on the car in just a few minutes. So that's the good news. As you can tell, pretty much everything that's wrong with the car that I've gone over has been either addressed or is soon to be addressed, and really isn't that big a deal. And we are off. So I have something to admit. I am a little bit excited. I have officially reached the age where getting new tires on a car is something that I look forward to. So I might be a nerd, that might just be being old. Let me know in the comments, do you get excited about stuff like that? Speaking of comments, I posed a question about tires on Twitter recently. I wanted to ask, for those of you who have Model 3s or other Teslas, what are you currently running on your tires? I know the Model 3 that I'm currently driving came from the factory with some Continental pure contact or like pro contact tires. They're great. They're actually pretty quiet. I'm driving on them right now, and like I said, there's like only 3 millimeters of tread left on them, and they're still pretty quiet and smooth. So I called Discount Tire and I asked if they have these tires or something similar to them in stock, and they do. So I think I'm just going to replace these with basically the same tires that came from the factory, especially since we're not planning on keeping this car for very long. As you guys know, we're planning on trading in this Model 3 for my wife's ID4 when it's ready. So I figure we're pretty much buying these tires for the next driver, and the next driver might just want what came from the factory. I also looked at some Yokohamas, and I'm going to consider those too, but more than likely we're going to put the same factory tires, those Continental Pro contacts, back on this car. Alright, so fast forward a few hours later, the install itself went fine. That actually was the shortest part of the process. The longer part of the process was like the logistics of getting this paid for. Like I said, I bought this car used from Carvana, and it was delivered with like 3 millimeters of tread left on the tire, which really isn't a good condition to sell a car in, even a used one. So Carvana agreed that they would pay for the new tires on the car. So they made it sound over the phone like that would be a pretty simple procedure, that they can make a payment over the phone directly to Discount Tire. Discount Tire said that that'd be fine, so I thought I'd be able to just drop off my car and it'd be done in like an hour or so. That didn't end up being the case. So Carvana actually uses a third party, or I guess a fourth party, to pay for claims like this. So they insisted that Discount Tire email them an invoice for the parts and labor, and then they wanted to send payment by email back to Discount Tire. So that kind of made things a little bit different. That was Carvana's policy. Discount Tire was just doing their best to make it happen, and I have to commend Discount Tire. They spent like an hour on the phone with Carvana and with SilverRock, Carvana's claim service, to make this all happen. And even after all of that, SilverRock just closed for the day without sending the payment. So that was kind of a bummer. So we're thinking that the email payment will come no later than like Monday or Tuesday next week. So I went ahead and I just paid out of pocket to move things along, because Discount Tire couldn't release the car without payment. So I totally understand. That makes all the sense in the world. And I'm ready to get out of here. I've been hanging out for like several hours in between when I dropped off my car and when I picked it up just now. I went and I got a workout in too, so I'm physically exhausted and I'm just ready to get out of here. So thanks for watching this far into the video. video. I really appreciate it. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, leave me a like, and comment below. What do you think about this whole process? Would you consider buying a car from Carvana after seeing what I went through personally? I can still recommend them just because this is kind of like a weird case. I'm going to consider this kind of like a one-off. I've bought a car from Carvana before and it wasn't as tumultuous as this. So I still recommend buying a car from Carvana, and I definitely recommend coming to this discount tire in North Scottsdale. I will have them linked in the description below. I highly recommend checking them out. They went above and beyond to help me out today. But that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. Thanks for watching. This has been Blake Check, and that's a wrap.